Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Sunday Functioning Chat. Let's go ahead and get started.
I ain't gonna hide you there all on that day. I said, Rock, what's the matter with you, Rock? Don't you see I need you, Rock? Lord, 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 all on that day. So I run to the river, it was bleeding, I run to the sea. It was bleeding, I run to the sea. It was bleeding all on that day. So I run to the river. It was boiling, I run to the sea. It was boiling, I run to the sea. It was boiling all on that day. So I run to the Lord. Please hide me, Lord. Don't you see me praying?
Well, the music is lingering on my end, so sorry. Anyways, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. I just found out it's lingering because I have another tab up. So there we go. I don't know. I just seen Prepping for Heaven. I just seen what you had to say. I'm not sure why that is. I haven't disabled anything, so I'm not sure what the deal is. Just want to say hi to everybody that's in. Dark Lord Menet slides in. Lori's right behind him. Thank you for coming in. I see Nanny Tam. Hopefully you're feeling better. And I agree, Lori. I think it's YouTube, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that and see if I can figure out why. So I am by myself today, but that's okay. I put a poll up in chat, and I really want people to do that if they will, because I'm struggling internally whether I'm putting out stuff I should be or not. Hopefully by the end of the day, you'll get a better clue as to the direction I'm heading. So hello, Ruby Slippers. Thank you for coming in. Nanny Tam, it's great to hear that you are headache free at the moment. Let's hope it lingers on. Okay. Foot of snow on the ground. We were supposed to get a bunch and never did, but they're calling for up to a foot over the next few days. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm glad you have it. I don't, but I don't mind it either way. So, okay. So before we get started, I do want to let you know probably most of my lives I will be throwing some sort of poll out, whatever that may be. A lot of things can be as far as information. I'm trying to gather directions. Thank you, Dark Lord Menet. I appreciate that all too well. Little side thing, thoughts and prayers for Nina and Boyce. I'm not going to tell you what's going on. They can do that. What I will tell you is what's on their community tab, and they suffered another loss. So, and I think one, if not both of them, are sick. So please keep them in your thoughts. Keep Tiffany in your thoughts, and from Mud Mascara Homestead and everybody in general. Okay. Yeah, Lori, I said the same thing, but I did reach out to her this morning and we chit-chatted a little. So they just need the love and support. That's what they need right now. So yes, Xander, you are correct. When it rains, it pours. Okay, that being said, let's go ahead and move into what today's chat is about. So I decided one of the reasons why I put that specific poll up the way I did was because I want to make sure whatever I'm putting out there is what you guys enjoy. Yes, Lori, I agree. That being said, though, I feel this need to put out content that is really more directional back to why the channel started. in doing that, one of the things I think I am going to start doing, I haven't decided on the day. And give me a second because I'm adding this up so everybody knows what we're talking about. And I can't type, so that is part of the problem. Okay, so what we're talking about doing is adding more of this in. Okay, so slow cooker meals, slow cooker soups. Again, you can call them crock pot, you can call them slow cooker, you can call them warmers, you can call them whatever you want to. Same theory behind all of it. Also looking at doing Instapot meals and then collaboration. So I'm going to go through a list of the things I'm looking at doing. And if there's any suggestions, I will gladly take those. Slow cook in the oven. That's right. Now, the benefit that you have with, and not so much the instant pot meals, but at least the slow cooker meals, most of those can be done, meals, soups, desserts, whatever it is. Most of those can be done in a traditional way. It's just a dump and go thought process. That's the thing behind it. So you can just add, usually, some of these do not work this way, but most of them do. You can throw these items into a crock pot, slow cooker, whatever it is, and walk away from it and come back, 6 to 8 hours later. And then either the meal's done or you got to add a couple other things to it, let it cook for an hour more theoretically, and you'll be ready to go. That's the point. Okay. So what I'm looking at doing is dropping a video on Wednesday or Thursdays, depending, because that it's a rotation I'm trying to get to. Okay. In doing that, he's in the back room, in his room. In doing that, I thought it would be good so that it gives me a constant, but it's not the same thing all the time. That's the point. So, excuse me. Yes, and for most of us, using less electricity is used in the slow cooker crock pot instead of the oven. And I do know some of our friends, like in the UK, just specifically because I know that example. Hello, Lavender Hippie. Thank you for coming in. Is they have a electrical use battle they're fighting right now, and it's harder for them to leave items on for long lengths of time, but they still can manage around it. So anyways, I think that what I'm looking at doing probably will be beneficial. Is it something you've never seen before? I can't necessarily say that. These are items that I've not cooked before, so that's why I'm going with them. So that all being said, one of the other things that goes with that is if it's something that you have seen, great. It's primarily more for those that maybe haven't seen this type of item done, as well as it's getting content out and maybe a different way to cook something. Now, again, this goes back to the same thing, which, that being said, is most of these items you can do a different way, whether it's on the stovetop, in the oven, instant pot, slow cooker, crock pot, campfire. I mean, really, you could go on and on and on. So hopefully they are items that you guys enjoy or you guys will get something out of. If it's not, then it's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm just trying to add additional content where I can. I just don't want everybody to be thinking, oh, here comes another X, Y, and Z. I'm doing it so I'm putting content out there and hopefully helping somebody see that most of these meals are not that hard. They're not a big deal. If I get a lot of good input, what I might do is turn this into a reoccurring series that I do, and I'll highlight channels that put these out. So most of these, almost all of these items are recipes I got from somewhere else. I'll give credit to where they came from. And for us, I think on all of them, it might be one or two that's not, but on all of them, they will be new to us. And so I can at least give a review, whether we liked it or didn't like it, what we would change, if we would change, and then go from there. And then I would like to be able to later come back and then highlight our favorites, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That being said, let me go ahead and look at comments real quick. Yes, I agree with that. I'm sure we all could improvise to figure out how to do it. With that, we have to work with. And if I can help you with that, then let me know. I mean, if it's a matter of just throwing some information out, that's the important part. I think, thanks, Lori, I appreciate that. And I think the other comment here is it is showing versatility, because most of the items I have ever made, most, minusing or taking out of that context collaborations, because most of those are specific to specific ways or specific items. Most of what I do is that you have an ability to do this a different way. And to follow up right there, you can do it in an Instapot. You could slow cook it. You could oven bake it or cook it, or stovetop, or I already said stovetop. You could use a gas grill outside. You could do a fire pit. I mean, really, it's just you know what you want to utilize and how you want to utilize, not utilize the method you want to use. You know how that works for you. And so it's just throwing it into your process. That's the important part. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into the first conversation, which is slow cooker or crockpot meals. Okay. So the things we're looking at doing is Parmesan garlic chicken pasta. Now, again, these are all items that are done in the slow cooker crockpot. Thai chicken and rice, chicken cordon bleu, pork chop casserole. I'd never seen that one before. Basil chicken, gone all day casserole, and you kind of get the gist, where that's going with. Honey garlic chicken thighs, chicken and stuffing, cube steak and gravy, crockpot Swiss chicken, because I'd never heard that before. Crockpot cheeseburger soup. Now, this one I put in this category because when you see it done, it's more of a meal than it is a soup. So that's why. Pasta fagioli. I know I'm not pronouncing it, but we'll go with it. And then sloppy Joe mac and cheese. So those are the ones we're going to, throughout this series, we're going to go ahead and try to tackle. Let me go back to comments. And that's part of the problem with you having the method under your belt. You then know which ones you would be able to accommodate best and how to cook with them. So that's the importance of knowing that. And I agree with Xander. Yeah, you probably should have eaten before you came to one of my lives. Sorry. Okay. So that being said, that's what's out there. Now, what I'm asking you guys to do is if you have any additionals you would like to see, because I'd love to be able to see it. Or be able to put it out there. Let me put it that way. I just went through a list what I thought hit my intrigue button, we'll say, and so I wanted to go ahead and go with those. So what I'm intending on doing is I'm intending on doing 1 week it'll be a slow cooker meal, 1 week will be an Instapot meal, and then I'll go back to a slow cooker soup. So in a month's time, you're getting 3 different types of videos. And I haven't decided what the 4th week is going to be. I am kind of trying to decide that. If you guys have any recommendations, by all means, put them out there. I'd love to see them. And then we also have on Sundays, we also have every 3rd week, we have the revisit with Michelle from Big Valley Living and Angela from the Inquisitive Farm Wife and myself, plus others in here in chat that will do the revisit to the pantry challenge, the $40 pantry challenge. We're going to restart that up again as well. And basically it is one pot meals, Nanny Jam. That's the point, is that you're not sitting there for hours trying to do something. Now, again, it's like, just for example, a minestrone soup. It sounds overwhelming and daunting, but it's not really, because it's kind of, you just put it all together, and the last bit you have to do for the half hour before you serve it is you're just putting your macaroni in there. So it's in that theory, in that line, in that direction I'm trying to go. Okay. That being said, that doesn't mean that it doesn't. What I tried to stay away from is anything that was more of a side dish. Because then that means that's multiple things you're having to cook, and that wasn't the direction I was trying to hit with it. Okay. So yes, basically one pot meals is what I'm looking at least for the 3, which is slow cooker meals, slow cooker soups, or the Instapot meals. Those are intended to be that way. Now, the one thing I could throw in for the 4th week in the rotation is that I could do a side dish. So if you guys want that, let me know. If not, I'm just going to put out what I can or need to. So, all right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the slow cooker soups. Yes, it is. And actually during the summer and the spring and the fall too, because that's when we're all busier. So it's nice to be able to have something you can just throw together and it's done. And it will help every person as we go along. Sorry, I got a text message I got to look at real quick. All right. Okay, so that being said, we'll go ahead and move into the soups now. So in that list, I have creamy Cajun chicken soup, slow cooker taco soup, chicken bacon ranch soup, mushroom egg drop soup. Now that one's going to be a little different because that one probably will be done on the stovetop, but you can do it in the slow cooker. I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet for what instructions I have, so I'm still researching that. Easy chicken soup, and some of these are repetitive in what we do. I mean, a lot of us make a chicken soup, or you make a chicken noodle soup, but it's a different variation. So that's the point. Meatball soup, sweet potato soup, creamy enchilada soup, Disneyland clam chowder. Patty's going, French onion soup, tater soup, and that's more of a tater tot soup. What do you think of that?
Sounds different.
Sounds different. It does. Excuse me. Creamy gnocchi chicken soup, cabbage soup, and shepherd's pie soup. So that's what I'm looking at in the soup category. Again, if you guys have any recommendations, let me know. And that's another reason behind it too, because then you're just using a slow cooker, crock pot, whichever it is, Instapot, and you're not heating up the house during the summer or late spring or early fall. So that's good. There you go. That's the way to do that. Hopefully, no, you're not, Xander. But, you know, Bucket List Homestead, thank you for coming in. And there's your answer. So, all right. So into the next one I'm looking at is the Instapot meals. And I put meals and soup. And it's because I think one or two of these, which I'll tell you when I get to it, I'm thinking about making it more of a soup than a meal, but it just depends on how it goes. So on that list is a corn chowder, which I'm sure you'll like, chicken pho, baby back ribs, chicken tikka masala, Hoppin' John, which I don't even know what that is, but it just sounded good with what was in it. Magic melting potatoes, Sunday sauce and meatballs, Cajun sausage and rice, zuppa Toscani, rice pudding. Now that's not necessarily a meal. That one is one of the exceptions. I think that's more of a dessert type thing, but we'll see when we get there. Chicken Alfredo, butter chicken, carrot cake. I know obviously is not a meal, but it was a variation. So I may do either a dessert run or a side dish run and move that over to that. And then mushroom and spinach risotto. Now that is a side dish. So I think what I'll do is I'll go through this and come up with some additional meals and then move those over to the fourth week in the alternate. What's the word I'm looking for? No, not alternative. Can't think of the word. The rotation. We'll just call it that. Sorry. All right. So we are just talking about, and I'll bring it up. This is what I'm going to try to put a video out each week that would fall into these categories. And I think I've decided already that the fourth week in the rotation will be either a slow cooker or instant pot side dish or dessert. And we just finished with the instant pot meals and soups. And then we were going to go into the next one, which is collaborations, because that's going to take a little bit to go through. And according to Dark Lord, this is what I'm doing. Most of them are either crock pot or slow cooker meals or instant pot. That's what I'm trying to do. And usually I'll do a salad or a bread or a roll or something off to the side, but the highlight isn't that. And thank you. Rotation, I guess, is the word I was looking for. I agree that pulled pork in a slow cooker is good, but we get bored with it really quick. So, and yes, you could spend a day making and freezing bread, rolls, or dough, even biscuits to pull out for the meal of the day. I do agree with that. Hello, Life in the Piedmont. Thank you for coming in. So one other thing I'm trying to do before I go into the next one is I'm trying to we've talked about this for a while and just trying to get it fine-tuned is the hardest part, because when you have, hello, Lynn the Okie, thanks for coming in. One of the things that is a struggle with it, so what I'm talking about is we had talked about doing Collaboration Central, which is a location you could go to and find out what all the collaborations are going on for the year, theoretically, if not the month. And it was a constant change, update. You had some channels that, and you still do, nothing that hasn't changed, but you have some channels that did it the year before and then they're not doing it this year, or they're taking a break because they didn't feel like it should have carried over the following year, because eventually you come up with the same information. So I'm trying to go back and trying to fix that with channels that I know are doing their collaborations again. And so I'm working on that. I'm trying to work with Gail Southern Living because I know she does a weekly listing of it. And other than to go through and watch each week, I don't have her information. So I'm just waiting for her to get back to me because I'd love to be able to put out what we do know at this time as to what is out there. But that being said, I can go through a list of what I've committed to, what I am doing, what I'm joining with, co-collaborating or co-hosting, I guess would be the better way. And then some things we haven't even talked about yet. So that being said, I think we can go ahead and move over to the next conversation, which is collaborations. So January, the only one that I'm involved with. Now there are tons out there and more of them, and I agree. And if you have a collaboration that you want me to put out there on this list, please by all means send me an email. And what I need is what month, the name of it, who is the person in charge of information, who's hosting it, and then whether it's a month long, if it's specific date, and then just a brief description as to what is entailed in the collaboration. Okay. That being said, in January, the only one I'm involved in, and I'm helping Tiffany from Mud and Mascara co-hosted, is the Tailgate Time. We're into that one. That one's already started. And then moving into February, there's two of them. One I'm co-hosting, one I'm just in. The one I'm co-hosting is with Heavenly Hills Homestead, and that one is Break My Heart Bake. And that is, you do a baked item and it tastes so good it breaks your heart. Go with it. That one will start on the 1st, and then Jenny Scratch Made Kitchen is doing Plan to Can for the month of February because I believe it is home preserved month, if I remember correctly. I don't quote me on that, but that was the reason why she went with that. March, we have Pies of March. That's me and Mennonite Farmhouse. We do that one, and then I'm doing another one with Ryan from Heavenly Hills Homestead, and that one is the seed donation, which we've talked about a few times. And that, I think in February, we're going to run where people can start giving us hopefully a listing of those that want to donate to that, because it's basically matching up donors with recipients. That's what we're out doing. And then in the month of March, we'll pick up a list of those wanting to receive. And then our giveaway isn't a giveaway per se, it's a seed giveaway. So we'll match everybody up, and then you'll know hopefully what you're getting. If not, then you'll know who you're getting it from. So April, that's a new one. We haven't talked about this one. This one is going to be The Great Mystery, and that collaboration will be hosted by myself. And what that one is, something you haven't cooked, something you haven't made. It's a great mystery to even you, because you don't know what it's going to taste like. You don't know what, whether you like it or not, but that's part of it. Is, whoa, sorry. Not knowing the great mystery. That's the point. So, all right. Then from April, we go into May, and here's another new one you hadn't heard about. They went that way. One you hadn't heard about is called Plates Around the World. Okay. And this one is being hosted by Heavenly Hills Homestead and myself. It's actually a creation of Ryan's sons. And I definitely want to give him all the credit for that because it was his idea. What we're going to do is those that we have on the list, it will be invite. If you're interested, let me know in email, please, because I can't keep track of a lot of it right now. It is the whole thing is that we'll have a collaborator. In theory, we'll have a collaborator for each day of the month. Now that could turn into more than that, depending on how many people do it. So what we'll do is those that are interested, you take the first letter of either your channel name or your personal name, and you have to cook and video a dish from that country that you pick. Now, this will be based on a first come, first serve. So if there's 4 of you that all start with the letter T, first person to say, I want turkey and this is the dish I'm going to make, is the one that's going to get the ability to do that. We would ask the other 3, by all means, at that point, to go ahead and pick either. It's not so much the country. If we have, I mean, I don't want 4 people from the same country if there are other options out there, but primarily not the same dish. That's what we're trying to avoid. So there you go. June. Well, Jam It Up June is back for its 3rd year. It's been a success for the first 2, and we wanted to carry it on, and that it will be co-sponsored with me and Blue from Blue Self-Reliance. Okay. So that being said, thank you for the great idea here. Lynn's going to the Okie Homesteading Expo in March. Cool. Love the name. I'm assuming that was back on the Break My Heart Bake, if I'm correct. This must be for the plates around the world. It does sound challenging, but I don't think it'll be that hard once we get into it. We were talking about it, and while, you know, trying to make sure it's not duplicated either country-wise or dish-wise, I think the ability to do it should be fine. And Dark Lord Minute, you are correct. There is no country starting with the letter X, but if there is a channel that really wants to push it, and I know like in China, there's tons of Providence names that start with X. That's something we can discuss, you know, at the point, you know, if your name, I know your name starts with the X, but I'm saying if you don't want to go with D for Dark Lord Minute, then, you know, if you can justify a country's province or region or state, if it's the US and you have the letter X, I think we're going to be okay with that. We'll figure something out. So Dark Lord Minute. So what I would ask is that you do it by your channel name first. If it's duplicated or that's a hard one, like Xander, let's assume that your name starts with your channel name started with an X. Then I would ask you, well, what about D for Dark Lord Minute? I'm just reversing those around. So anyways, you get the gist of it. So, and what we're hoping is, it is fun. That's the point. We're just trying to highlight different dishes, different items we may not have seen before, and still maybe trying to give a little history about the country or population of the country, or, you know, just some things. The only thing I'm asking is that you, in your graphic, you would put a picture of the flag so people would know that and what the country is, so that they can also tie that together. But we'll get to that later down the road. So, all right, moving back into the list. Yes, to initiate your research, you're going to go through Google, I would assume, or a browser of some sort. Okay. So there are X's out there. That's the good thing to know. I didn't think there was any, but eventually, you know, you're finalizing your information. I would hope that you would possibly look a little more into it, so you know that what you're putting out there is correct information. That's what I'm asking. So, okay. So then we have Jarred Up July. That again is a return. That's one that Blue and I both do. And it's anything you can stick in a jar. Really, anything you can stick in a jar. Okay. I don't want to see your gasoline and your oil and all that other not okay stuff. We're talking about things you can use jars for. So August is open right now. That doesn't mean that won't change, but as of right now, it's open. I don't have anything in there. So we'll move into September, which Leanne at Mennonite Farmhouse, I'll be in September with her. And then we're going to be doing a new one called The Rub. Now this for us is, when I say us, I'll explain it, because it's being co-hosted by Mud and Mascara, Kettle Kitchen, and Blue Self-Reliance. And it's replacing the Shindig, trying to make it easier on anybody that wants to join it, but you have to be able to make a rub. You can't go to the store and buy Johnny's seasoning and add pepper and Italian dressing, Italian seasoning to it and call it a new rub. You have to actually make it from scratch. Okay. That is the point. It's a rub. Now, I don't have a problem with it being a wet or dry rub. Just make sure that it's something that's yours, recipe wise, and you can use it on whatever. It doesn't have to be barbecue. It could be a roast. It could be potatoes. I mean, whatever you add it to is the point. Okay. Hello, Rena LaRue. It's Sunday already. You are correct. We're just going over the collaborations I'm going to be in for the year that I've committed to right now. That doesn't mean more won't be added, but it's what I've committed to. Okay. And I'm doing this because I want you guys to know these are the things I've looked at being involved in and what you can look at coming down the road. So anyway, so that was September. October is the next one. And then, of course, Jenny Scratch Made Kitchen does Croctober. I don't know if she's having me co-host that with her, but I know I'll be in it. So we'll just have to wait and see. I think we talked about it, and I think that's what she was going to do, but I want to make sure before I say that. Question about Jarred Up July. Does it have to be food? No, it doesn't. It could be a craft. It's where you store your spices. It could be, nuts and bolts that you use inside, your husband uses in a shop, or the guy uses in a shop, or, whatever. I mean, it's basically demonstrating the multiple uses for jars. Now, what I would recommend doing is going back to last year's, looking at that and trying not to duplicate it, because we all know there's tons of other things out there. We just need to see what they are. So no, it does not have to be food only. Okay. All right, that leads us into November, and they're only the 3 that I know of. I'm hoping I can join one of them because I didn't do it this last year. And the other one, one I'm hosting, and it's all by myself, but the other one I'm hoping she does it and invites me back. So I've got it on my list as it's something I'm planning on doing, which is Wild Game November. That's hosted by Christine, Mrs. Gillum Farms. And it's using wild game as a dish. Okay. Then Noodle November this year is going to be different. This will be the 3rd year we're doing this. And that being said, there's a twist, so to say. What the twist is it has to be a twisted or spiraled, different shape pasta than just the normal ones. It has to be a spiraled or twisted. Now, I would be okay with bow tie because that does have a twist to it a little bit. But it can be homemade or it can be store-bought. It doesn't matter. But it can't be just your normal straight or like elbow or anything like that. Normal stuff that is shaped just the way it is. Bucket List Homestead. Please tell me which one that is, because there's a ton of them and I am not remembering again which ones I've joined. So if I did join it and I told you I would, then just put it in here so I know, and I will add it to my list. And I also will tell people about it. I'll come to that one in a second, Lynn, and I'll tell you why. Oh, Freeze It February. I did forget about that one. Thank you. So there's a third one in February I'll be in. And I'll write it down so I don't forget it. Thank you for the reminder. I appreciate it. Nanny Tam says she loves how Patty walks in 2 seconds, finishes Tony's sentence for him. Live in the Piedmont. If you're interested in joining any of the collaborations I've listed out, please send me an email and tell me which ones. Because here's the struggle, and we've talked about this before. Okay. Excuse me. These are only the ones I'm associated to, or I know about, or I've been a part of. Now, that being said, I know that at one point, Prepper Potpourri did, and I'm just using this example. Prepper Potpourri did Air Fryer February, but then she didn't do it. If to my knowledge, she didn't do it last year, and I don't know if she's doing it this year. When we send out our original collaboration centralized location to find this information, she said she didn't want her name on that list. Well, I can't push people into it, okay? And if I've been asked not to put their name on the list, I'm not going to go out of my way to put their name on a list, okay? That's kind of where I'm at with that. If there are any of these specifically for me that I'm hosting or co-hosting, other than Tailgate Time, because that one's already started and done, which is in January, you need to let me know you're interested in which ones you're interested in. If it's a random, I'll do any of them, or I want to be included in any of them, then I'll just add you to a master list that I then can pick from when we do have a collaboration come up, or we need to get notification to people out for them. I agree with Bucket List Homestead. It is hard. It is a long process to do this. You on each channel. So on my Kettle Kitchen channel, I can only obtain, if I don't have them, I can only obtain 5 email addresses a day. I then have to wait till the next day. Well, if I'm less than 2 weeks trying to get a collaboration started, that doesn't give me much time to get a list put together. So for that reason, and it's primarily the primary reason, when you guys send me your email address, your name, your channel name, your mailing address, I'm one of the ones that does retain it. I do not share it with anybody unless you specifically ask me to, or if you're in a collaboration and you win a prize, and just say, for example, Jesse and Lisa say, hey, do you have any contact with Nanny Tam? Do you have her address because she won X, Y, and Z? I will then give them that, but only in that situation. Okay. If it's a phone number, I 99.99999% of the time will not repeat that with anybody until I verified that with you, unless it's an emergency, and it really would have to be an emergency. Okay. And it's hard. Okay. And she's been trying since November. I get it. People don't make it as easy to obtain their contact information as you would think it would be that easy to do, especially the bigger channels. Once they hit a certain point, it's almost like they cut off that contact. And it's really, really hard to include them, especially when they don't have information. You finally find the information, but just for example, if they got 1 million subscribers, I'm here to tell you they're not reading every single email, or they hire somebody who filters through it to decide whether they should know about it or not. So anyways, Nanny Tam says they sound like fun, but I'm totally waiting to see how this goes, whether or not I'm cut out for it. You'll be fine. You're good. You're good. Okay, I will add you to this list, and then my master list I'll go into after we're done, and I'll add that in there. Can you send me a description of how you want it put out, what the collaboration is about? That's the one thing I need. Okay. I know what it is, and you know what it is, but if somebody wants to know what it's about, then just send me a little whatever about it, and I'll put it in. I'm sorry she's not feeling good, Stephanie. Tell her we're thinking about her. Yeah, you're fine though. You're not late. You're here when you need to be. Life in Piedmont, and that's the way to do it. It is just get in contact with people, see if they have an opening, and then move on from there. That's what you can do. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, you want added to the master list as well. All right, I'm gonna write this down. Now, the best thing I can offer to you is make sure your email address is on your about page. That is the easiest way for people to contact you, because other than that, they have no way to contact you unless they're going in and commenting on a video you put out and you go back and respond to it, typically, or alive in chat. That's the only way. Okay, thank you. That's the only way they're going to be able to catch up to you. Let's see. Okay, so a master list is where I'm going to put names of people that are interested in doing collaborations. They still have the opportunity to say no. Life happens. We all know that. But if I have a collaboration or I have somebody reaching out to me saying, hey, I've got 5 spots. Do you have anybody that might be interested to fill them? I can then forward that list onto them and they can reach out to who they want to. Okay. And I think that answers those. So there you go. Anyway, so moving back to the list. And then the other one I was hoping is Thanksgiving pies. I can't remember if I talked about this one. That one's done by my table of 3. It's whether Carrie invites me back and whether she's doing it again, which we won't know until we get farther down the road. But I'm still putting it in there as it's on my mind, because I'm here to tell you, I did 2 years ago, I did Christmas. I probably did 8 or 10 collaborations in December. That was overwhelming. Now, it's not overwhelming because of it. It was overwhelming because when you start, okay, I think the way it went, if I remember right, because the way that some collaborations do, they only do the first 12 days. Some did the second 12 days of December. Some only did the first 2 weeks of December. There's another one that I know is coming out. I'm not going to talk about it because it's theirs to announce. It's going to be after Christmas. So when you get into that mode, I think I want to say I had a video do like the 3rd and the 6th and the 9th, and then the next week was the 12th and the 15th and the 17th, and so you get it to where I got so overwhelmed I was done with collaborations because it just becomes overwhelming. Now, if I do it the way I'm doing it, right now I can see what's in front of me. I know that, I can ahead of time tell Angela from the Inquisitive Farm Wife, when she does December, I have the first 2 weeks of December open and I have the last week of December open, because I'm not committed to other collaborations. So just be careful on how many you do and how many you get involved in, because that becomes overwhelming at times. Lynn the Okie in for Jarred Up July. Now, moving back to that one real quick, because I finished November before I go into December. It is my understanding 4 Jars Lids will be the primary sponsor for those 2 collaborations, Jarred Up July and Jam It Up June. They also, I know, will be participating in Jam It Up June. I'm not sure about Jarred Up July yet, but that is wonderful. That's a connection we've made. They've been a part of it. I love their product. I've never had a problem with it, and they stand behind it. So, I mean, why would we not use them? So, you will what, Stephanie? Not sure what I will means. Okay. Anyway, so Lynn, I got you down for that. And I'll put master contact list. All right. Yes, you're welcome, I think. Anyways, so moving into December, just so I want to make sure I get this out before our hour is up. I didn't think I'd have enough to talk about for a whole hour, but obviously we do. So that's great. December. Okay. So these are ones I've committed to that I know I'm going to do, assuming that they are playing out. Again, December is 12 months away. So things can change, but it's at least what's on my list. Okay. So December, which is the Inquisitive Form. And again, if I'm invited back, I mean, that's some people change as they go. I'm no hard feelings usually. If you don't invite me back, there are channels out there that try to interject new channels in. And so for that reason, I appreciate that. And I think that's a great idea. I have no issue with that, but there are ones I'm planning on. So December with the Angela, the Inquisitive Farm Wife. And then Ashley at CNC Farm does the Ultimate Christmas Cookie collaboration. Holiday Cookie Recipe Exchange with Jenny Scratchmade Kitchen. Now that one is a one-day drop, so it's not that hard to do. Then you have Steercember, which comes back to, I think it was Lynn the Okie that brought this up. To my knowledge, Derek is doing it again, but I haven't heard confirmation on that, so I'm not quite sure. And then with Ryan from Heavenly Hills Homestead, we are doing the Odd Holiday Meals collaboration again. That one will run for the whole month this time. And then the last one is the new one that I'm introducing, but I'm co-hosting with Blue and Casey, that's Bland's Promised Land and Casey over at Ormsby Farms. I don't know if they realize. I know I've talked to Monica, but I got to talk to Casey about it. And it's going to be the Winter Candy Fair, and it's only candies. Okay. So on Steercember, though, Lynn, you need to get a hold of Derek because he's hosting that one. I'm not a part in the sense of hosting it. The master contact list I have is for the ones I'm hosting, co-hosting, or helping set up. Okay. I can put your name down and let him know if I hear from him if he's going to do it. But your best bet would be to contact him. So there you go. There's the rough of it. So I did want to check before we're done. I have 14 votes. 93% said yes, they like the way we do things. 7% said no. So I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is for that. Nanny Tam says he's already said he's definitely doing it again. So I would say contact them. Hello, Canadian Family Life. Tiffany, thank you for coming in. Again, so I have to go with that 93% like it. So I'm going to go ahead and go that way. I will go ahead and end the poll. So that's done. There we go. Your email in description box so we can email. Are you Life in the Piedmont Homestead? If you're talking to me, yes. And I will go and double check just to make sure. Give me just a half second here. Yes, it is there. And I'll click on this here. On my About section, if you click on it, yes, it is there. So there you go. No, you're fine. Cooking. All right, Lori, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Our cleared minute. That's funny. Yeah, I'm not sure why. but that's fine. The only problem with the polls is that you don't have a reason. So I'll have to look at it, maybe doing a Q&A next time. So well, I hope you guys do, really, because if it's not working for you, then I need to change something. And right now it seems like everything's going okay. So much appreciated. So I think, let me look one more time here. Oh, that's the wrong month. That ain't going to help me. There we go. So the 21st, just so everybody knows, that should be the revisit of the $40 food pantry challenge. And Angela and Michelle will be on with me on that. There. And I talked to Michelle yesterday, and she is on board with that. And then I'm hoping by next week I can go ahead and start and get this rotation of this series I'm wanting to do in and get it started. Interviews the game nights. Thanks. I appreciate that. All right. So again, if you want to be on that master list for the collaborations I host or co-host, go ahead and get that information to me. If you know of a collaboration that's going on that I haven't listed, go ahead and send that to me and I'll try to add it to what I have. I'm hoping by next Sunday to have that all done so then I can send it out to people if they're interested. And I get that. That is part of the issue with my late night specifically. That one is, if you're on the East Coast, that's 11 p.m. at night. So I get that. Anyway, so there's a list and you have it. You can see what's coming. If you have any recommendations for either the slow cooker meals or crock pot, whichever you want to call it, the soups, the instant pot meals, or the side dishes, go ahead and let me know and just put it in my email and send it to me. I would appreciate that. And I'm sorry, Tiffany, I apologize. All right, guys, anything else before we go? Thank you, everybody, for coming in. I appreciate it. Thank you to all of you that have modded today. I appreciate that. I am going to add something, and I don't even know if she's here still. All right. Let me look one more thing up here real quick. I just want to see what it looks like. If my chat will come up. Hello, Renee. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. You are more than welcome to go ahead and rewatch it. Sorry. Everybody's got things going on, so I appreciate it. So there we go. We're almost done. We're almost at our hour, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. I want to say thank you to all you guys. Appreciate you coming in. And have a good week, everybody. Remember, be safe, think ahead, meal prep with ease, and preserve. Have a great week.